What unites the giant snail and a chicken? Why was the film crew so obsessed with the pool frog's fat? And how did they turn a hilarious $700 blow-up toy into a terrifying monster? Beloved cutie. The loveliest, nicest creature was the giant boulder snail that just wanted to chill. The first friendly monster was a complete CGI creation.
Easy does it.
What you so scared for? Boulder snails are nice.
The designers referenced lava lamps to help evoke the beautiful flow of movement and recreate the way an actual snail would move. The team paid attention to every single detail, even leaving slime traces on the ground. They also examined real snails in order to create the same skin texture and colors. And the result turned out to be so precious that, while watching it, it seems like they filmed a real giant snail. What deserves special attention is the eyes. Those were meant to not only recreate the look of a snail, but also add personality to the character. In the end, after days of searching for the right choice, the production team made a decision that the eyes would be modeled after a chicken. They were a perfect fit and gave the snail a chilled and slightly careless look. Matt Everett, the VFX supervisor, shared, "We played with the idea of the eyes and the small protuberances on the front. What if they were everywhere, unfolding out of the shell? The eyes were important for establishing a non-threatening connection with O'Brien." I think we can all agree that it worked. And while some creatures were intentionally made to look friendly, others were supposed to be scary and gross, enlivening the absurd. As the film didn't take itself too seriously, and the budget was pretty low for such a VFX-heavy movie, the crew was able to be a little bit absurd, like when they were creating the pool frog. Matt Sloan, the VFX supervisor of the movie, recalled, "It was like, how fat should he be? Think of the fattest thing you can and make it 2 times fatter. Then add in boils. We had sessions just discussing, how should fat jiggle? Is it jiggling in a big chunk, or has it got little ripples through it? Oh, simple answers. This is how." Even though the team recalls the process of the frog creation as a joke, it took them a lot of work to implement everything and made it look that real. They started with studying an actual frog, and then they had to build on top of that, adding mutations and all sorts of other gross stuff. The most attentive viewers noticed that the big frog had these huge bulbous sacs on its back with tadpoles swimming around inside them. What amazing details, right? But the details on the frog itself were not the only thing they really paid attention to. Just look at the pond and props around it.
This is the frog pond house, and these are frog's eggs from a particularly huge frog. So we're just sort of bedding them in at the moment. We're putting the slime over the eggs, and they'll be part of the appearance of our monster.
Aww, so cute! A $700 crab. Moving on to the fans' favorite creature, the hell crab, which won the viewers' love with its tragic life story and beautiful non-monstrous eyes. You can always tell by their eyes. Matt Sloan shared that, in his opinion, the hell crab was the most complex creature to make. The team had a very small budget for the crab, and it seemed impossible to make it work since it was such a crazy sequence that involved a lot of moving pieces. While you're watching behind-the-scenes clips, you might be surprised by how practically a lot of the effects were executed. Starting with the simple excavator wrapped in blue cloth that knocked down the wooden outhouse kind of thing, to the simple cables dragging Dylan through the sand.
What we did, it was a stunt rig with a forklift, and they tied a cable to his leg, and they just started pulling him along through the sand. There are a lot of wires on Dylan, little tag wires, spinning him around and making sure he hits his marks in the air.
You might wonder, was there anything big and crab-like on set to help the actors act and help the team to recreate the crab in post-production? And the answer is yes! Look at this terrifying reference!
We did have a giant inflatable hell crab as a reference, which was unbelievable.
The first time we inflated this guy on the beach, he became the favorite crew member on the entire show.
The crew shared how, while the crab remained on the beach, he became a true Instagram sensation. People who were passing by kept taking pictures and sharing them on social media, saying how silly it's gonna look. Matt Sloan shared, "That blow-up crab is one of the best things that happened to me in my career. I think it was a 30-foot diameter and 15 feet tall custom-powered inflatable crab that we had. I think he cost $700 US, and we were so impressed we got 2 of them." Of course, the final result that we see on the screen cost much more than just $700. However, the crab still remains the cheapest special effect. But we must admit that the team did an exceptional job and the results exceeded all expectations. Just look at those details.
His primary design is a crab, but there's all these little nuances. A six-pack ring stuck on his head. One of his legs has the crab trap that he was in when he mutated and grew out of it, so it's all sort of busted open and twisted around one of his legs.
There are dozens of little tiny details all over him. The VFX team spent a lot of time putting everything together.
He's had a complicated life. You can see from all the accoutrements and barnacles and bits of detritus that have stuck to him over the years. And he's the one we're meant to go from being scared of to sympathizing with.
However, CGI is not the one and only production tool, right? Some of the monsters were created using practical effects, creating Mavis. While the creatures are indeed magnificent and the work of the visual effects team deserves a lot of respect and attention, it's pretty easy for a viewer to mix up effects and practical scenes. What if I told you that there is something in the film that no one will likely realize wasn't a CGI? Remember the robot Mavis?
She will appreciate the grand romantic gesture implied by your journey and be moved by your kindness and leadership qualities.
Thanks, Mavis.
You might be surprised, but this thing was almost entirely real. She was a brilliantly built puppet with a puppeteer in a gray suit standing behind her. Visual effects replaced the puppeteer, painting him out. But he controlled Mavis's head movements and her left arm.
Do not give up on your quest, Joel. When you see her, she will appreciate the grand romantic gesture implied by your journey.
Explaining how exactly they brought the robot to life, Matt Sloan shared, "The only things we did for her, apart from removing the puppeteer, was to put in the computerized faceplate, and a couple of shots where we animated her left hand a little better than what we'd had in the shot." The creation of Mavis on set was so real and detailed that all the production team fell in love with this character and almost considered her a part of the cast.
She is one of those rare cases where you forget that she's made out of fiberglass, you forget that there's an actress doing her lines, and you forget that there's a puppeteer. She's just Mavis.
Apart from Mavis, however, there was one absolutely adorable creature on set. Just in case some of you thought this creature was also CGI generated, here's a fact for you. The dog was absolutely real.
Hey, I'm Dylan O'Brien, and I played Joel in the movie Love and Monsters. But, as everyone knows, the real star of this movie is this guy right here.
The way those dogs act is absolutely unbelievable. Yes, you heard me right. There were two of them. Have you seen those extremely persuasive skills?
This is amazing right here. This acting moment. The moment of like uncertainty. He doesn't know which direction, who to go with. You know, he's questioning going with me. Are you kidding me? This is a dog. He's brilliant.
What a shame the Academy Award didn't take such an outstanding supporting actor into consideration for the prize. However, they did pay attention to Love and Monsters and nominated it in the Best Visual Effects category. And even though they didn't get the award, the production team was not upset since they already considered the nomination a victory. As Sloan said, "It's the visual effects branch that chooses the nominees, and it's the general population of the Academy that chooses the winner." So being nominated is the ice cream sundae, and winning is just the cherry on top. Well, I guess worldwide fame and fans' genuine love is the main cherry on top that Love and Monsters undoubtedly received. Go watch our Uncovering Love and Monsters behind-the-scenes secrets to find out why this movie is so exceptional. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, stay awesome!